collaborate on developmental issues. Vice President Yemi says focusing on pressing national issues with significance for the future should be the objective of the meeting this year. This was when Vice President Yemi received a delegation of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group at the presidential villa. The NESG team briefed the Vice President on the agenda, particularly the theme of the 28th Nigerian Economic Summit 2023 and beyond, priorities for shared prosperity. Stating the significance of the private sector's perspective to macroeconomic issues, the Vice President said it is important to always note what are the main concerns today, especially about macroeconomics and how to deal with the issues and how to resolve these issues. Elsewhere, sustainable peace, stability and development is possible for Africa if leaders would incorporate the principle of adapting African solutions to Africa's problems. Former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, stated this while addressing the ongoing session of the Pan-African Parliament in Midrand, South Africa. Vivian Idekpefo reports.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is addressing the Continental Parliamentary Body for the first time since he was appointed by the African Union to mediate peace in the Horn of Africa. With the successes recorded in Ethiopia and Tigray, the former president is concerned about an enduring solution that fosters assurance of security for all parties.
You have to be friendly to all sides and whatever, and also be patient, because you will be accused of all sorts of things.
Former President Obasanjo says the African Union would make more impact by working in synergy with all organs and called on the Pan-African Parliament to be steadfast in carrying out its duties as outlined in its objectives.
And this institution is not an unnecessary institution. It is an institution that should be part and parcel of the instrument that will lead us to the promised land. That is indispensable to the AU.
The Pan-African Parliament is soliciting the support of the former president in getting member states to understand the importance of the legislative organ and ratify the Malabo Protocol. Vivian Idekpefo, NTA News.
Back home and heading straight to the National Assembly, the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, has appeared before the Senate Committee on Culture and Tourism to defend his ministry's 2023 budget proposal. Anthony Forson reports.
The minister opened his budget defense explaining the culture and tourism sector's mandate, which is anchored on promoting the people's culture and facilitating access by citizens to positive values, with the challenges his ministry faces on account of low funding and still striving.
The pandemic, on the one hand, which affected this industry more than any other industry, and of course also the paucity of funds. For Your Excellency, sir, I want to say with all sort of humility that despite all this, the creative industry has done extremely well. Mr. Chairman, sir, I'm sure you are aware, sir, that for the first time, the creative industry was able to attract private participation funding to the tune of about $100 million to rehabilitate and renovate the National Theatre. And it's with pride, Mr. Chairman, sir, I announce here that Monday the 14th of this month, by the grace of God, we are going to declare open the first ever United Nations World Health Organization Global Conference on culture, tourism, and the creative industry. And this is going to take place in the iconic National Theatre.
On 2022 budget, the minister lamented but concurred with questions asked by members of the committee.
Excellency, you have spoken right to the challenges we are facing. I don't think I can improve on that. That with COVID-19, with poor funding, I mean, we could not do as much as we wish to do.
It's unfortunate that at the short time I've been in the Senate, the Culture and Tourism has not attended this where it should be, attend this height because of this insecurity and COVID-19 and poor funding.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Police Affairs and agencies under the ministry have a budgetary proposal of 871 billion naira for 2023. The Minister, Megare Dingyadi, at the Budget Defense engagement with the Joint Senate and House Committee on Police, urged that the National Assembly should facilitate additional allocation for improved policing. National Assembly correspondent Lamiali brings us details.
The minister is making the request to further improve infrastructure and logistics in all police formations across the country.
The demand upon the ministry is to carry out its mandate of ensuring adequate security of lives and property in Nigeria. The provisions proposed for this task in the year 2023, particularly for the main ministry and the police academy within, are considered inadequate.
He gave details of budgetary releases to the ministry for 2022.
For purposes of implementation, actual releases to the main ministry in the 2022 budget as at date totaled about 1,701 million.
The synergy we've enjoyed with the Committee on Police Affairs of both the two chambers. So we are really proud of you.
The House Committee on Mines and Steel Development as the Budget Defense sitting with the Minister Olamileko Adegbite was informed that the ministry is working with the Office of the National Security Advisor to ensure enhanced security on activities in the sector.
The National Security Advisor, on his advice to the President, that is a ban on mining in Zamfara. So, the National Security Advisor is aware of the problems of illegal mining and, of course, the attendant security causes, and is working on a robust proposal.
The most important issue this committee would like to raise during this budget hearing is how to revive the steel industry in the country. How is the 2023 budget of the ministry key to the revival of the steel industry in Nigeria?
The budget proposal for the ministry for 2023 is 3.2 billion naira from the National Assembly. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Away from the National Assembly now, in the face of multiple climate shocks, Nigeria is sourcing international support to ramp up finance for climate change adaptation plans and disaster risk reduction initiatives. It is a drive led by Nigeria's Ministers of Finance and Humanitarian Affairs at the United Nations Climate Conference in Egypt. On NTA, Fineface reports.
Nigeria's vast and unique landscape exacerbates extreme weather events, resulting in forced migration and other humanitarian crises across the country.
We address these issues, which is the adaptation aspect of it, whereby we support people to regain back their livelihoods, we support people to get adequate shelter as a result of the displacement.
Beyond sourcing funds to respond and cope with the climate extreme, Nigeria hopes to break through cumbersome conditions inhibiting access to available finance from the international community.
We are setting up a global sustainability financing standard, and Nigeria is one of the early adopters, and we're leading. In this regard, the objective is to be able to provide relevant disclosures in financial statements that will help us to attract investment finance for climate-friendly projects.
Minister of Environment Mohammed Abdullahi also engaged the President of the Islamic Development Bank on opportunities for improving climate finance support to Nigeria.
Climate Change Council is supposed to develop what we call National Action Plan. it needs expertise, it needs consultancy, it needs a lot of support, from government banks like yours.
The country is also ramping private sector investments in country to fund adaptation programs. From Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, on NTA Fine Face, NTA News.
Away from Egypt now, the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has promised to provide technical assistance to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, for effective management of disasters across the country. Head of the Nigeria office, Trond Jensen, stated this when he engaged the management of the agency on proactive ways of reducing the consequences of the menace. ASUU Yakubu reports.
The UN OCHA delegation, who commiserated with the government and people of Nigeria over what they describe as the most devastating floods experienced in the history of Nigeria, promised to render all the necessary assistance to NEMA. Mr. Trond particularly identified areas of the technical assistance, which include training and retraining of NEMA staff for improved capacity.
But what we are looking at is potentially then to provide support at the federal level, both in terms of assessments, information management, some coordination support potentially, as well as then with resource mobilization.
Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, Mustafa Habib Ahmed says NEMA is interested in all the support it can get from all agencies to make it succeed in this wondrous task of managing disasters.
We're looking forward to the support of UN OCHA, both materially and through the sharing of your vast wealth of experience in global best practices in managing a complex emergency as we confronted with.
The meeting deliberated on other issues concerning managing flooding in Nigeria. In Abuja, ASUU Yakubu, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. Time for a break. Please stay.
Welcome to the Glow Festival of Joy. It's a celebration like no other, with prizes like no other. 20 new houses to be won, 24 brand new cars, 200 sewing machines, 100 generators, 1,000 rechargeable fans. It's raining Giddy Got prizes this season in the Glow Festival of Joy promo. Dial *611# to enter and grab your share of prizes in this celebration of a lifetime. It can only be Glow. Glow Festival of Joy promo. Dial *611# now.
We are committed to the unity of our great country, Nigeria. Let us support our armed forces. Let us stand together with them. Let us stand for them. Our symbol of unity, the gallant men and women of the armed forces on land, air, and sea, who have continuously put their life on the line, protecting our lives, humanity, and nation.
Let us join them and stick together as one, irrespective of our misunderstanding, be it political, cultural, or ideological.
Our uniqueness is our oneness, our strength is our diversity.
Let us stand by, stand with, and support our armed forces to keep this nation together.
Nigeria is my own. Nigeria is your own. Nigeria is our own.
The third edition of the PMB Administration Scorecard Series will feature the Honorable Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika. Date, Thursday, November 10, 2022. Time, 11 a.m. Venue, National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. The event will be covered live on NTA, FRCN, and VON, and will be streamed live on the social media handles of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer, Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome to the Airtel side of life, where you're covered in a variety of reliable ways. Get a router for just 10,000 naira with up to 240 gigabyte, or this MiFi for 7,500 naira with up to 150 gigabyte, or this for 5,000 naira with up to 125 gigabyte bonus data. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by Airtel, the smartphone network.
This blessing be yours, forever to keep a calm and peaceful sleep.
Removes mosquitoes so you can sleep a calm and peaceful sleep. Good night, Electric.
Stubborn dark marks? Try new Nivea Lumina 630. Visibly reduces up to 10 years of stubborn dark marks in just 4 weeks. New Nivea Lumina 630. Get even and luminous skin.
Brookville Hotel and Suites. We are poised to ensuring your happiness and comfort. At Brookville Hotel and Suites, we are hospitable and value our customers. Our cuisines are healthy and tasty. We have a secured environment and we give your event a top-notch touch. Brookville Hotel and Suites has an array of rooms and conference halls that gives you the desired variety. Access our swimming pool and gym where professionalism is at its peak. Visit us today at Plot 553, Cadastral Zone, Gadua District, opposite Lokogoma Junction, Abuja, FCT.
Thank you for staying. 9,100 small and medium-scale entrepreneurs in Borno State have benefited from disbursement of 914,200,000 naira under the Borno COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program, Resort Area 3. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, who flagged off the disbursement exercise at El Kanemi Warrior Sports Center, Maiduguri, pledged continued support to SMSCs. Mohammed Goni reports that the program is an initiative of the World Bank.
The 9,100 beneficiaries were drawn from 3 associations made up of tailors, tricycle riders and GSM operators who are given operational support based on their business sizes and capital needs. Breakdown of the beneficiaries shows that 3,100 members of Borno State Association of GSM got 320 million naira, 4,000 members of NAPEB riders 200 million naira, while 2,000 members of the Tailoring Association also got 100 million naira. There were also direct beneficiaries from Amalgamated Association of GSM receiving 70 million naira, as well as 24 operators of Keke NAPEB collectively presented the sum of 24 million naira.
Today's occasion underscored our quest to minimize youth selectiveness by empowering them to boost their existing businesses, potential and new businesses of their choice, to enable them to become self-reliant and useful members of the society.
The governor, who assured them of continued support, also pledged to procure additional 3,000 tricycles and establish new expanded GSM market, as well as thousands of tailoring machines, among others. Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Sain Nabuba, highlighted previous support extended to about 64 associations across the state to the tune of over 4.2 billion naira. Managing Director, Borno Renaissance and Microfinance Bank, Dr. Bello Ibrahim, charged the beneficiaries to reciprocate the gesture by helping in maintaining peace and harmony, as well as utilize the cash for the purpose intended. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
We head to the courtroom where High Court of the Federal Capital Territory has dismissed the allegations of fraud and money laundering filed against a businessman, Benedict Peters, for being incompetent. The presiding judge, Justice Olukayode Adeniyi, held that the British and Nigerian investigating agencies who investigated the claimant failed to establish their claim that assets seized from him in Nigeria and Britain actually belonged to former Petroleum Minister Diziani Alison Madueke. The court awarded 200 million naira damages jointly and severally against the prosecuting agencies in Nigeria and UK for victimizing Peters and restrained them from infringing on his personal liberty. Now talking security, the Nigerian Army has commenced exercise Rawan Zaki. What is the implication on emerging threats and where is the location for the military exercise? Defense correspondent Ismail Musa will give us details.
And troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army at the Land Forces Simulation Center, Giri, Abuja, venue for exercise Rawan Zaki. Rawan Zaki is the code name for this military exercise involving the deployment of technologies for enhanced capacity building and force multiplication.
Simulation exercises test the capability of an organization and other complementary entity to respond to simulated emergency, disaster, or crisis situation.
Different softwares were used to create real-time scenarios to further develop these troops in the ongoing onslaught against terrorists.
Exercise Rawan Zaki is intended to bring out the relevance of quick decision-making in the art of war. In order to achieve this, the exercise will simulate a joint task force brigade comprising an integrated force of military, police, and other security agencies in planning, preparation, and conduct of military operations other than war using the Master software.
Details of the training were carried behind scene from the Land Forces Simulation Center in Giri, Abuja. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The federal government says 5 million Nigerians have been provided with renewable electricity generated in the off-grid sphere across the country under the Nigerian Electrification project, NEP. A statement released on the level of implementation of the project shows that more than 900,000 solar home systems, 67 mini-grid projects and 26 container solar energy parks for hospitals have been deployed to the benefiting communities. The World Bank and African Development Bank are supporting the project with a grant of $550 million so as to boost electricity across access in the country, especially with renewable energy. The implementation of the Nigeria Electrification project, the federal government says, has so far created 1,151 jobs and saved more than 200,000 tons of carbon dioxide. Rural Electrification Agency is implementing the project. The federal government is to establish leather processing center in Doma, Nasarawa State, in view of availability of raw materials. The Director General of the Nigeria Institute of Leather and Science Technology, Mohammed Kabir Yakubu, revealed this when he visited Governor Abdullahi Sule in Lafia. Aliyu Tijani reports.
Ability of hides and skin in Nigeria mostly consumed as pomo. The Nigerian Institute of Leather and Science Technology says such raw material can be processed into leather materials for domestic use and export. The Director General of the Institute, Mohammed Yakubu, informed Governor Abdullahi Sule that federal government is exploring the raw materials through establishment of leather processing center for job creation and revenue generation. When established in Doma, the leather processing center, the Director General says, will create jobs for teeming youths in the state.
You know, the training in leather and leather products is not something that requires a lot of time. By the time we show you what our students that are trained from scratch for 1 month, you will be surprised actually how they have gone. Because some of the things they produce can be marketed anywhere in the world. It is going to be our youth that will be trained, and they will later on become entrepreneurs, and then eventually it's for the economic development of the state. So if we are going to gain all these three, well, why not? We'll definitely look at this your proposal of yours and see how we can enjoy the partnership.
In Lafia, Aliyu Tijani, NTA News.
ASUU is back in the news, and this time the Academic Staff Union of Universities has expressed worry over payment of 18 days in October 2022 salaries to its members. In a statement, President of the Union, Emmanuel Osodeke, posits that the National Executive Council of the Union describes the development as unprecedented in the history of university-oriented labor relations, and therefore frowns at the government's attitude to reduce what they called scholars to casual workers. While appealing for understanding of students, parents and other concerned Nigerians, the union wishes to pursue positive resolutions within the ambit of the law so as not to get into avoidable crisis. The Nigerian Television Authority and Nigeria Health Watch, a non-governmental organization, have committed to a partnership that will push advocacy towards greater financial commitment of the Nigerian government in the health sector. Ekene Ndule brings us details.
Issues of poor infrastructure, inadequate health workers and medications have become common narrative associated with Nigeria's primary health system.
But those solutions are across every spectre of our
Vivian Ihekwazu is the managing director, Nigeria Health Watch, and improving funding in the health sector is the target of her organization.
So part of the work we also do is ensure that all the health programs are adequately funded. We know that our health outcomes are not the best, so channels like NTA are critical in terms of working with NGOs, working with multilateral partners to ensure that our health sector is adequately funded.
It is a noble agenda, says Dr. Damian Bayi, who is representing the NTA Director General at the meeting, promising that NTA will provide the platform to effect positive policy change in the sector.
We'll partner with you, we'll collaborate with you, and we'll provide our platforms for your activities, for you to showcase to Nigerians your activities.
A partnership has been forged, and as the delegation from the Nigeria Health Watch takes their leave, there is no doubt in their minds that this is a win for the Nigerian public. Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
We now pause here in Abuja and let Adiola feed us with more news. Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Nyere, and welcome to Lagos. Foremost and multinational mobile telecommunications company, MTN, is set to transform another batch of 150 female entrepreneurs with relevant business plans from the grassroots to becoming a millionaire. Diana Jala reports that this is through the company's Yellowpreneur initiative in Lagos.
MTN Foundation presents the Yellowpreneur Initiative.
Since coming on board in Nigeria over 20 years ago, MTN has continued to blaze the trail in the telecommunications sector. From youth empowerment, student scholarship to mother and child health care, you can count on MTN in their operational community activities. Not resting on its oars, MTN has again added a new initiative to its kitty called Yellowpreneur. MTN management says this is targeted towards empowering women economically and reducing unemployment rates. A proof that the mobile telephone network operator is aligning with the federal government's Sustainable Development Goals agenda.
It's all about ensuring that women take their place in the economic development of Nigeria. Women constitute over 50% of the population, and we try to encourage women to take their rightful place in the society.
I feel it's the right thing at the right time and an opportunity for women like myself to take advantage of. And for this, of course, a big ups to MTN for this.
A total of 42,000 entries were received from across the 6 geopolitical zones of the Federation, out of which 500 selected entries will be allowed to take part in the project, a free online entrepreneurship capacity training. After the mind-blowing virtual training, 150 best business plan owners will be given 2 million naira equipment loan.
75% of the funding is a loan and 25% is a grant. But you can only access the grant when you pay down 75%.
To provide this funding support to young women, Nigerian women, in order to hone their skills, promote entrepreneurship, create wealth for people, create jobs for people, and create wealth for the country and grow the country GDP.
Beneficiaries include fashion designers, female farmers, manufacturers, ICT and digital services. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, the official liquidator of the defunct Post-Service Hubs Savings and Loans Limited, have begun the process of carrying out verification of depositors' liquidation in order to facilitate payment claims. The public notice was made by the Managing Director of the corporation, Bello Hassan, at the Commission